Excuse me. So at this point, it's my pleasure to welcome the best man, a man who needs no introduction.
You're so fucked. You're so fucked. It's unbelievable.
Hold on, before you start. Hold on. Just let me get a drink.
You don't need. It's not gonna help. It's not gonna help.
Prepare. I just want to.
I'm ready to go.
I need a drink for this.
Why are we arguing already?
I need something to quell the burns.
Well, he's quelling the burns. So everybody, Chris is a Chris is a married man, married to the love of his life, Kat. On behalf of my family, I say congratulations to the bride and groom. Chris and Kat, you guys look lovely. You've both planned a spectacle befitting of Chris's luscious hair. When Chris asked me to speak, I was truly honored. He had many great people to choose from. Any number of his three wise men would do a fine job. Christ, or Chris for short, has been my family's savior many, many times. I've known Chris before he turned water into wine, before he was resurrected from the cave, before his young days in Galilee. I've known Chris before he became a carpenter, and all he did was talk about wood. But enough about Chris. For those who don't know who I am, I'm Mark, a very close friend of Chris's. By the numbers, I've been his next of kin once, taken him to the hospital twice, his designated driver over 12,000 times. I've equal times had to tell Chris to get down from climbing things because he was going to die, as much as I've had him climb up things. Oh, and I've been his boss 3 times. And that is the genesis of our friendship. Around 1998, I met Chris at a call center in Scarborough. One evening, after our shift was done, Chris was all dressed up. He had big plans to get started on a night of drinking and forgetting his name. That night was not meant to be. A few of the prettier females in the office were walking just ahead of him. They got to the all-glass exit door, and you could just feel how cold it was outside. Just as one of the girls went to open the door, Chris, making a last-minute decision to be a gentleman, went to open the door by kicking it hard. The entire door shattered on his leg. Blood running down his leg. He's looking pale. Mark, please drive me to the hospital. And so our friendship began. We've shared many milestones together. For Chris, this very, very special day tops them all. But his rise to this moment has been riddled with so many mind-numbing moments. Here's one. Some of us will live our entire lives never having experienced our 15 minutes of fame. Not Chris. On the day where all the world's leaders came to Toronto for the G20, causing riots through the city, our beloved Chris took part in a peaceful and patriotic protest. He and about 100 or so people sang "O Canada" loudly in the streets. Only Chris decided, why not sing that anthem sitting cross-legged in the middle of a busy street with his back to 40 armed riot police.
There's like 150.
150. This just in 150 riot police. Helmets, batons, shields, they're just ready to pounce. The moment the anthem was completed, the armed troopers ran at full speed over the protesters. 3 of them went specifically for Chris. But you see, Chris is fast. Chris is very fast. Almost in one motion, he leapt to his feet, hit the ground, and bolted. Oh my God. Evading any harm. I should point out at this point that there are great videos of this moment in time. So great, in fact, that they were featured on news stations throughout the world. He's a celebrity. But I give it to Chris. He's in great shape. He's in great shape. I mean, look at him in this suit. Is he not gorgeous? No, stand up. Look at him. He's maintained the waistline of a 17-year-old cheerleader. Yeah, go ahead, sit. At this point, Chris will want me to remind everybody just how strong he is. Specifically, he likes to talk about his thighs. I don't know, he always talks about his thighs being like horses. He's literally flexing them right now. But it's only fair to point out that there's no one on earth that I know that eats as much food as Chris does. His diet on a regular basis looks like the menu of a person desperately seeking diabetes. I know this because while we worked together, Chris would email me, because he was productive, email me a list of all the things he ate in a day. 4 coffees, 2 muffins, 2 bags of chips, Timbits, donuts, rice, curry, garlic pork, several cookies, gummies, and jubes. It's impressive. It's impressive. In keeping with Chris's many talents, Chris is also fluent in English. He attempts to speak French, however, it's Chris's Guyanese accent that is truly impressive. Which you would expect. I mean, his father and half of his entire family are from Guyana. I happen to be married to a Georgetown-born wife, so I know a good Guyanese accent when I hear one. You're fine. Only Chris is... I don't even know what that means. Is that stop or go? Only Chris's Guyanese accent sounds more like a Guyanese auntie yelling at her hotfoot son from across the house while making a pot of cook-up rice. But Mr. Fernandez, you raised a son who values, loves, and respects the Guyanese part of his upbringing. I mean, he has miniature Guyanese boxing gloves in his rearview mirror. But that's not all. I can personally attest to the fact that Chris has radar on all Guyanese food. Pilori balls, for example. For those who are unfamiliar with them, they're essentially Guyanese Timbits. Also, cook-up rice and curry. And what I mean by radar is, if my wife ever comes back from her parents' house with these foods, Chris magically appears. He doesn't even warm up the pilori. He just shoves them in his mouth. It's true.
It's true. It's valid.
Like food, Chris loves his family, loves the hell out of his parents, enjoys every minute he spends with his extended family. I salute you, Benny and Peggy. It could not have been easy raising a young Chris. We all did silly things. Chris definitely did silly things. It's kind of what we love about him. We have learned that Chris is up for a few things always. Chris is always up for talking about wood. In fact, this must be a very special day. I've spent 6 hours straight with him, and he hasn't once talked about wood. Or hammering things, or the things he does with a sawzall. A saw... this... Sawzall. Sawzall. Funny, I once heard someone say a husband is a lot like a hardwood floor. Lay it right the first time, and you can walk all over it for the rest of your life. That's a hardwood floor joke. Sit down. I digress. Chris loves combing his hair, whipping his hair around, putting his hair in a ponytail, talking about cat, Very true. Preparing for the coming zombie apocalypse. You guys just air high-fived each other about the zombie apocalypse. As you're likely learning a lot about Chris, I have too. If you ever want to get to know Chris, you just have to go camping with him. On one of our camping trips, we all got up with a plan to head out to the beach. Chris was feeling the urge to spend the day shirtless. Oh, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Chris, who had some vodka and Doritos for breakfast, started pushing me. He wants to fight me. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, Chris, piss off. He's already slurring his words. Come on, you think you're so tough. It's not how it happened. Here's how it happened. He jumps on me and tries to get me in a headlock. True. I'm getting annoyed. He punches me and we start to grapple. I break free and I somehow pick him straight up in the air and throw him in the hard sand. Now, at this point, Mr. Fernandez, you need to know that this is not a fight I wanted anything to do with. Anyways, I hear a crack. I think nothing of it, figuring he landed on dry beach twigs. Chris gets up. Ugh, my shoulder's dislocated. He's in a lot of pain. Side note, Chris has dreamed of dislocating and relocating his shoulder, just like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. Anyway, so Chris, now in a seething amount of pain, insists that somebody just pop his arm back in. Cy. Stand up, Cy.
Stand up, Cy.
Yeah, this is Murdoch. Oh, Cy can't even... Oh, that's a different matter. Cy has apparently frequently dislocated his shoulder and agrees to just pop it back in. Only Chris would later learn that his collarbone is broken, and this has nothing to do with his shoulder. Oh, have no sympathy. Chris and Cy spend a few minutes just drilling Chris's shoulder back into place. You could almost see Chris's spirit going up to the heavens. It's amazing how true it is now. Mark, please drive me to the hospital. Oh my God. It's been a reoccurring theme, these hospital trips, but they aren't all bad. You see, Chris has been a part of so many important parts of my life. He was one of the first people we called to be with us for the birth of my son. Chris is one of the sweetest guys I know. It's true. He's a great uncle, he's a great friend, but he's also a brother and a soldier and an incredibly vital part of my family. All of us here are a group of people that love the hell out of him. We come from different places, know him from all points in his life, but we love him dearly. I believe that sometimes you can see the boy in the man. You can catch glimpses of a man when his life was simpler. Maybe it's how they laugh, or how fast they eat their favorite food, or the cartoons they still watch. In Chris, I see a youthful kindness and the endless energy that he will expend to make the life of those around him better. And that's what makes Chris Chris. Kat, today I can tell you that you're gaining one of the single most trustworthy people placed on this earth. He's a man of his word, however loud those words always are. But he never forgets and he never gives up. And I know that he's crazy for you, in part because he talks about you constantly. His version, by the way, of the first moments that he fell for you are so incredibly odd, it's unreal. More or less, the story is this. I saw her bum. She didn't speak to me. She didn't seem interested in me either. So I bought her ice cream. Raise your hand if that's true. Okay. I just summarized a 45-minute love story I've heard 3,200 times. But we couldn't be happier that you have both taken this leap together, creating your own story. To borrow a line out of my own wedding speech, you become penguins, lifelong partners who trod through this life together. Sometimes you stay by each other to keep warm. Sometimes he brings fish back from the hunt. Sometimes you just both juggle a little egg between your feet. It's a cute visual. So long as it is together, then it is forever. Congratulations, Chris and Katz.